Hey there, wonderful audience who have joined the Revolving Relationship today. Get ready to embark on an incredible adventure with us. Subscribe now and let's explore the concealed secrets and uncover the truth together. Today, we will delve into a challenging topic that is relevant to all of us on our journey: handling deceit and betrayal. Well, my friend, today's story about OP cheated with multiple mans. Let's see what happened. 2006. I was married to a real piece of work. We got married really young when we found out she was pregnant. We were married for a total of 17 years, had 3 kids, plus I had one from a previous relationship. One recurring theme you may notice is her total lack of remorse. If she felt she was right, she'd just admit to it and carry on. Around 2 years in, she started an online relationship with a guy that lived about an hour away. I was working 2 jobs. She didn't work. Main job was working for my grandparents' farm, so during the summer it was nothing to work 100 plus hours a week. First child was a small toddler and number 2 was a new baby. It's been so long ago, I don't remember how it came out, but she admitted they had driven to meet each other with the kids. I was bullied pretty ruthlessly throughout my childhood, so I learned pretty early to not display any aggression, but rather take time and plan what to do. So I probably didn't react how she wanted me to, and a couple days later, I came home to find she had moved in with her grandmother across town. I tried reaching out to her to agree on what we should do. She just keeps saying it's over and we're done, but she wants me to meet him. Not happening. I left. She calls the next day, and she suggests some Bible verses she wants me to study around. She gets 2 or 3 of them out, but then slips and mentions this was suggested to her by her AP. Wait a sec, this guy has you quoting Bible verses to me, but he's having an affair with a married woman. For those of you that aren't religious, that's major bad juju. She quickly ended the conversation, went radio silent for about a week, then agreed to talk. She said she would agree to work out if I would agree to move away from here. Context: we live in a very small town where both sides of my family have lived for a couple generations, and her dad's family is also from here. I asked where she wanted to move to, and she said we could move in with her parents on the other side of the state, citing one of the reasons she wasn't happy was my family. Granted, my family didn't like her, but they never voiced that around her, and they would have bent over backwards to help her if needed, even if only for my sake. Flip side, her family hated me. I got along okay with her dad, but her mom and sisters couldn't stand me. Only reason I can think of is they couldn't push me around like other exes that had come around. This was taking place in late 2008, early 2009, so not a good time to be moving or looking for a job. I lasted 2 weeks in that house with the side eyes, backhanded comments. I had filled out so many job applications that I was tired of signing my own name. No one was hiring even in this busy growing metro area. I applied to a trucking company that would pay to put me through CDL school. I already knew how to drive trucks from my years of farm work, but didn't need a CDL for that. Didn't want to stay gone, but it was the best option I had to make decent money. Fast forward a few months, it didn't take long. I got promoted to be a driver trainer and signed on with a contractor that had about 30 trucks, all contracted to the same big company I started with. Went from bringing home $500 to $800 a week to $1,600 to $2,000 a week. I opened a separate account for my paycheck, because another major problem my ex had was spending money we didn't have. After a while, I'm running a lot of miles, coming home every few weeks, which is difficult, but it was the best option I had then. Every time I made it home, I was still dealing with the snide comments, and while I was gone, every other day X was complaining about something one of them did that was stressful. It all came to a head one day. I had just made it home after 4 weeks on the road, when one of them said something along the line of "get a real job." I picked up my bag, looked at X saying, "I'm going home. You can go, or you can stay, but I'm going home. But for right now, you need to take me back to my truck so I can go back to work." She nodded amongst crying, but I was done dealing with them. Over the next few months, we got moved back across the state to our hometown of rural Podunk, USA. We found a house to rent and reactivated our old joint checking account. Big mistake. This is around early 2011. Didn't take long before she stepped out again. This time with 2 local trash examples of human. And because our account was joint, somewhere around $30,000 was unaccounted for. This was before money apps, and having to call the bank to make transfers was a royal pain. And it was a lot of trouble to watch every transaction. I immediately put a stop to that, and some acquaintances put a stop to the friend boys because in this area, my family carried a lot of respect. We're all good people until one of us gets crossed. No, I didn't ask them to do anything. A few months later, mid-2012, I took a local job. Way less money, but at least I was home every night. Things seemed fine for about 3 years until we decided I had to go back to making more money. End of 2015, I met the boss I work for today, minus a stretch from 2021 to 2023 while I was home dealing with my divorce. I'm not sure what all she was up to from 2016 to early 2019. I now know had some more online flings, but I didn't hear about those until after we were done, so I didn't care at that point. Around April 2019, she started her biggest affair to that point, a local cop, a man I considered a friend. Around a year later, I had a sneaking suspicion as we were getting close to D-Day that something was off, but couldn't prove it, so I didn't accuse it. Not the last straw, but one real big straw came one night when a man called to ask about the motorcycle I had for sale. Asked if I could send him a video of it running. I said sure, I'll call my wife and have her take it. I called, no answer. Waited a bit, called again. She answered sounding like she was trying to be quiet. I asked what she was doing. She said cop and his mom invited her over for steak and a movie. I asked her where the kids were. At home. Ages 16, almost 14, almost 13, and 10. And she left them at home to go eat steak with her AP of right at a year at that point. Naturally I was a bit upset. She ran home, took the video, and tried to apologize, but I didn't feel like talking as I had spent all day driving from SD to KY. I doom scrolled on my phone a while, ended up ordering her a Mother's Day necklace since that was coming up soon. I kept on running for a while. She had a small job in town, and her income was enough to cover all our bills, and I made considerably more. But there was never money in the account. Yes, I should have been a lot more proactive about the money, but I legitimately didn't have time to deal with the bank. If I tried to come home earlier in the week, or stay home into Monday, it ruined my load schedule, which ruined a whole paycheck. D-Day finally all came crashing down over one weekend. One missing piece of context: X was always a horrible housekeeper. I'd come home after being gone for weeks and literally not have a flat surface to lay my hat on. Massive pet peeve of mine. So, end of July 2020, I have an annual motorcycle trip I take with some friends of mine. It's with a regional group, so the different states take turns hosting the national meeting. This year it was only the next state away, about a 6-hour ride. Leave out on Thursday, ride back on Sunday. Well, Saturday morning, I got injured. Cut a gash in my leg, but nothing a compression bandage couldn't control. Still made the ride home the next day with no issues. Made it home Sunday night, everything seems fine. X has to work Monday, I stay home an extra day for my leg. Lay in bed most of the day. Around 2, I get up to find a snack. There on the counter in the kitchen was a solid green loaf of bread. I 101% lost my mind. I'm glad the kids were at school, because I fell apart for a minute. Managed to straighten myself up, went to lay back down till she got home. She walked in the room, bent down to kiss my cheek, and I barked at her. I'm sick of this nasty house. I'm tired of coming home to this. Her instant response was, fine, because I don't want you here. That devolved into a major discussion where she admitted she hadn't been happy with me for years, but always acted and told me otherwise. She never once tried to tell me anything was wrong. Context about me: I'm naturally hardwired to be a problem solver. If something presents itself to me as a problem, especially in my relationship, I drop everything and focus on that until I figure it out and fix it. She knew that. Just like before when I uprooted my whole life to follow her so we could fix our marriage. So, no, she really never did try to let me know there was a problem. Probably because she knew I would make every effort to fix it, and that wasn't what she wanted. So, end of that, I left with nothing but my clothes, my motorcycle and my job. Next few weeks, more and more information is coming to light. We agree to talk when I get back. Early September I made it home. She admitted to yet another affair with a cop friend, as well as dirty texting a coworker. She told me about him when he got hired. Had a record for SA, 2000. Possession of child porn, underage 12, 2006 S, bat by authority figure. I reminded her that in our small community, the mayor doesn't take kindly to scandals concerning city employees. In fact, he had literally fired the city fire chief a month prior for the same thing. So I moved in with my brother, even though I was only there a couple nights a month. She dropped the cop, but then went to dating the creep full-time. Naturally, I warned her to keep him away from the kids, and she acted like that was reasonable. Until one weekend, March 2021, I was at home. I had the kids with me. Sunday afternoon went to take them back to her, and the creep's car was at her house. Immediately flipped a U-turn, back to my brother's house. I called her on my way back and told her she would have to come pick the kids up. She tried to say, "It's okay, he's leaving, we lost track of time, blah blah." I don't care, I'm not turning around again. She showed up, and I threw her a world-class chew-out session. Called her every name but a child of God or a white girl. Our separation had been reasonably amicable to that point. Immediately following that, she tried to cancel my phone line. Wanted to close our joint account, but I told her that would make it difficult to give her money, so she left it. Time to file taxes. Since we didn't officially separate till toward the end of September, I was still entitled to claim all 4 kids as dependents, pretty necessary since I was self-employed. She went to our CPA and filed separately claiming the younger 2, leaving me the 14 and 17 yo. Between federal and state, left me owing around $8,000. This was also right about the time those big stimulus payments were coming out. $3,600 hit our joint account on New Year's. YOINK. Sent it to pay toward the $13,000 in credit card debt she helped run up, probably 70-30 hers. And then about a week after our big fight, $8,400 shows up. So that paid my taxes. She tried to argue most of that was hers and the kids' money. No ma'am. First off, none of it is the kids' money. Second, I would have gladly had given you half of it had you not intentionally messed up my taxes. She tried bringing it up to her lawyer. She told her don't bother because the tax fraud would make it worse on her. I got stuck with the cards since they were all in my name, and combing through expenses would cost a lot of lawyer time. But I kept everything else and everything shared with the kids. February 2023, it was finally over. She almost immediately ran to marry her SA boyfriend because she wasn't allowed to have him around otherwise. As I said in the beginning, I wasn't completely innocent. I did hook up with my ex-son's mother about 6 weeks before X and I got married. Yes, you're right. I was totally the that time. No reasons, no excuses. One other time, during X's first escapade, she had spent months telling me it was over and I needed to be preparing for that. She already had another dude, so WTH. I never went looking. I don't do bars, and in our community, my family is well known. So no one was eager to get mixed up baby mama drama. Can't blame them. But, I did bump into the same ex-GF. Told her what was going on. We broke off a piece, went on about our night. I maintain I wasn't the that time, but make your own inferences. Around 2014, ex-GF and I had a big falling out. I had custody of our son, and she vanished. Heard small rumors here and there about where she was living, etc., but I never looked for her. It hurt my son because he missed his mother, and I didn't know what to tell him as to why she disappeared. Fast forward back to May 2021, I'm enjoying a single, might as well be celibate life. XGF texts me out of the blue. I know you're probably just gonna block me again, but will you please tell our son happy birthday for me? Confusion. I replied, I never blocked you, but yes I will. Side note, November 2020, I had to get a new FB due to hackers. Turns out she had moved back a few months before, but kept a low profile. I told her I'd be back in town that night and I'd come talk to her. She had been married and divorced 3 times, had other kids, and endured every version of ABS imaginable. We started spending time together when I was home, talking through everything. Figured out X had gone through my phone and marked her contacts as spam so I wouldn't get notifications from her. So yeah, she not only cheated repeatedly, left me for a creep, tried to screw me over with debt and taxes, but she intentionally kept my son from contacting his mother. We soon started doing everything together, and that's blossomed into the wonderful marriage we have today. I couldn't be happier. Thanks for reading. Rant over. One more video coming later today. Let me focus getting that out first.